Hello, welcome back. I decided to make a video on why I am not making my dream game. What kind of sparked this was I've seen a plethora of devlog videos with titles such as, building my dream game, first day building my new dream game. And actually, I haven't watched any of these yet. And this isn't a video against those videos. I'm very happy for anybody who's building their dream game. It just made me think, I am kind of specifically not building my dream game. And so it just made me want to kind of talk about that a little bit. And maybe some other people should also not build their dream game like me. Little bit of history. I, like most of us, grew up playing video games. And like a lot of people, kind of always wanted to make games. I ended up going to school for software development, but never got into making games. My career path took me elsewhere, but I did do some hobby game development throughout the years, but usually things that never went more than a couple of weeks or a month tops. And I had other hobbies such as playing games, hanging out with friends, and then other responsibilities such as, job, family. And so I never really, this hobby game development, I never really thought would go anywhere. So it was always very easy to kind of put back down after it wasn't fun anymore. But as I've gotten older, I've noticed I've always kind of returned to it. And I've kind of gotten to a point where I'm like, no, I want to do this. This is something that I would like to achieve in my life. I would like to make a, commercially released game and release it. And it's just something I want to achieve. And I realize I'm probably never going to do that if I try to make my dream game right off the bat, or even the second or third or fourth one, probably. I realized, that was also part of my problem in the past, is that, I would get so ambitious. I'd want to make these amazing games that had all these mechanics and all these things. And it would usually lead to frustration or just, running out of steam, And I realized, hey, if I'm really going to do this, I need to set myself up for success and give myself a goal that's like achievable. That with a wife and two kids and a full-time job, that is something that I can achieve, and hopefully achieve within like a year. Because I don't know if I have the stamina to work on a game for 4 years without releasing it, to be frank. So some people do, and I applaud them. And maybe I'll get there eventually, but especially now with how rapidly, I'm learning. When you start to learn game development and learn a new engine, you're learning so quickly that like you're constantly having to rewrite everything, right? Because you realize, oh, that was totally inefficient. I need to do this a completely different way, or I need to change how I'm doing this. And so I want to work on a project that minimizes how many things I need to rewrite. So I decided I'm going to build a basic flat platformer, kind of like, kind of in the vein of Celeste, in the sense that, it doesn't really have enemies. I know Celeste does have some enemies, but for the most part, it's just kind of platforming. And I'm sure there's lots of other games in that genre that I'm not thinking of right now. But I thought that, hey, this is something that I could achieve, especially since I'm not an artist. I didn't do this character. I had commissioned this little character, and the world is just kind of temporary itch, purchased a bundle on itch.io. I was like, I don't want to have to pay for a bunch of enemies or make a bunch of enemies myself because they'll look horrible, and I just don't want to do that. So I was like, hey, I'll just make a game that doesn't have enemies, or maybe just has a couple. And if this goes well, and I still enjoy making games after I complete this game, then I can worry about that. Because I also would like to have some momentum. Like, I feel like I need a victory, I need something, a game that I can make in, relatively short amount of time, like a year, so that I can release it and be done with it and be like, okay, pat myself on the back. I did it. I made a game. I released a game. I've never done that before. And then I can take everything I learned and take that to my next game, instead of having to just keep plodding on and working on this thing that's like, feels like it's never going to see the light of day. Like, I want to have a clear end and be able to start afresh with a new game and have all that knowledge going into a new game. Like I said, harkening back to like, you're learning things. I'm learning things so rapidly. I'd love to start a game in a year that's just like, oh, look, and not that I'll have learned everything by then. Obviously, you're always learning new things, but have some kind of nice baseline of at least what I'm doing. So yeah, I just think that, especially if you're new to game development and you're seeing all these, dream game devlogs, and you really want to build your dream game, obviously do whatever you want. This isn't a video to tell people what to do, but maybe consider really reducing the scope and focusing on maybe one or two or a few elements of games that you like, and really focusing on just a few things, because that's what I'm doing. I'm not building my dream game, but it's not like I'm building a game I hate. I'm not setting out to build a game I don't like. I'm still building a game that I enjoy playing, and a style of game that I would purchase and play if it was made by somebody else. It's just not my dream game. My dream game is probably like, a Fallout New Vegas style game that's got a million different options and story paths and all this stuff. And, I've written in notebooks all these things that, maybe one day I'll do. But I certainly won't do any of that if I don't start with the basics. So, just pick a few elements of mechanics that you like and try to make a really good game with those mechanics. And then for your next game, you can maybe add a few more. That's kind of my plan with this. Is I'm like, hey, I'll start with a platformer that doesn't have combat, and then I'll make an action platformer. It still has traditional levels, like, in the vein of Ninja Gaiden. And then, after I've done those two games, then I'll probably be ready to move on to a Metroidvania. And the thing is, I can reevaluate as I go along. I'm not setting a goal, like a 4-year, 5-year goal of building a game, right? I have those kind of potential goals, but the immediate goal is to build this game. And then when I'm finished with this game, then I can reevaluate my next goal. I can be like, okay, well, after this game, I plan on building an action platformer. And when I finish this game, I can sit down and I can say, okay, is that still what I want to do? Do I really like this? And if I don't, then I can stop, right? Or I can continue, or I can decide, no, actually, I want to work on something completely different. But at least for this game, I've set myself a hard goal of, I will finish and release this game. For this game, for my short-term goal, I've not allowed myself an out. I'm saying, no, I will do this. Even if I stop enjoying it, I'm going to do it because it's something I want to achieve. And after I achieve it, then if I want to quit, then I can quit. But I feel like if I don't force myself to achieve it, then I'll always wonder. And so I think that that's a healthy way to go about it, is kind of commit yourself to short-term goals that you kind of don't give yourself an out. But don't do that with the long-term goals, because that's kind of what I've done in the past. Like, oh, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I can, but then of course you don't, because you change. You don't, or you find out you don't like said thing or whatever. So, but at least for the short term, for a year I can commit to doing this, right? I've already been doing it for a month and I'm loving it. So yeah, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to release this game. And, if it goes really well and I enjoy it, then I'll keep making games. And, if I'm kind of done, then that's fine too. I'll just put it down. But I'll, get to say to myself and to my friends, hey, I made a game once. It was kind of cool. Check it out. So thanks for listening to me ramble on for a bit. Hope you all are having a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.